Who will be the Eagles' next coach? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It is great to be here with all of you today. It is the 20th of January here in 2021, 11:17 a.m. here on the East Coast. As always, joined alongside my co-host, Gavin Tony. Gavin, it is great to be here with you today. We got a Flyers win last night. We got the Sixers starting five all back tonight. We got a lot going on. Of course, the Eagles continuing to interview many coaches. The Colts just announced that Philip Rivers is retiring, which could possibly mean Carson Wentz could be on the there's a lot going on right now. But first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. Listen, there's a lot going on around us as well, college life, and around the world too, around the U.S. inauguration day. That means an all-new regime, all-new administration is about to take place starting tomorrow. Zach, we're hoping for, unity and progression and once again all come together. But I'll keep in the sports world today, Zach. There's a lot going on. Philip Rivers retired. I don't know. Zach, how you doing? It's so much I can't even process it.
There's a lot. Look, there's a lot going on right now. You got to start with the Eagles. I mean, who is going to be the next coach? Doug Pearson being fired a little while back now. I want to say there was 5 or 6 vacancies in the head coaching job back when he was fired. We're down to 2 between the Eagles and the Texans. And it's kind of like the Eagles have the pick here. Look, I said this yesterday. The Eagles don't have a very attractive coaching job, but it's more attractive than what's going on in Houston. I can't say that right now. You have Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. You have now the offensive coordinator from the Colts, who was just interviewed. Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. Apparently, offensive coordinator Joe Brady in Carolina also as an offensive coordinator for them, possibly for the head coaching job. Look, I mean, there's a lot of options out there. Apparently, Mike Kafka is no longer interested. Brian Daboll is no longer interested. He was my personal first choice, but there's a lot of picks out there. And I feel like if Josh McDaniels was as easy of a pick as it sounded like that I said on Monday, he probably would have been picked by now. Instead, they're still interviewing different guys. They're still doing a bunch of things. I'm not sure what the update is with Bieniemy, whether or not they've gotten that interview request accepted and interviewed him yet. I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces with this Eagles franchise. Again, when you're in the season still and you have the championship games this weekend, and then 2 weeks from now you have the Super Bowl, the season's not complete yet. So a lot of teams are still, specifically, are focusing on this season right now. So I think that we have time. I wouldn't rush into anything yet. There's just a lot going on right now with the Eagles. Again, you can't make any free agency moves. You can't do any trades. The season's still going on right now.
Zach, when it comes to this head coaching position, you know where I stand on this. You wait. Josh McDaniels is not the answer. Joe Brady sure as hell not the answer. All right, Zach, you don't get one. You'll have one great year in college. Then you have an year, Zach. I'm going to call it an year here in the NFL, and they get rewarded with a head coaching job. You don't do that. You look at the guy, Eric Bieniemy, in the Chiefs, and you sit there and you wait for him. And if he doesn't want the job, which is hard to say because, Zach, he's interviewed for the job multiple times and didn't get it. So for him not to want the job, I find that pretty hard. Zach, you wait for him. You get him. Zach, we saw the numbers. We see what you can do here. But when you talk about the attraction, it may not look attractive, but, Zach, at least our quarterbacks, and as we know, I'm just going off a limb here, at least our quarterbacks respond to our organization. I mean, Deshaun Watson has talked to him, almost a month now? It's that bad. He didn't get the GM. He didn't get him put in GM. And now you want to throw him a pity party and be like, all right, well, we're going to hire the enemy. After now you're interviewing the man. Zach, if you are the Eagles, you hold all the keys. You get to pick who you want. And, Zach, I know who I want. Who do you want?
I wanted Brian Daboll at first because Josh Allen, Carson Wentz, similar type of guys. Again, I can't sit here and say from the personality side I want Josh McDaniels. He has a really simple offense, though, and Carson Wentz responds well in those kind of offenses. At the same time, again, look, I don't know how you can look at a team that's been top 5 in offense the last 3-4 years. You see the huge development in who could go down as the greatest quarterback of all time in Patrick Mahomes if he's able to have a successful long career. I don't know how you look at that and say, nah, we're good. Carson Wentz, arguably last year people were saying him and Patrick Mahomes, only 2 guys who can make some of these spectacular throws. People forget a year ago that they were being compared. The way that he threw this team on his back with the receivers last year and the linemen, this year it all broke down, right? We know how it all worked out. And if the goal in this offseason is to fix Carson Wentz, Eric Bieniemy is your guy. He was the QB's coach with Alex Smith. Of course, he's the offensive coordinator who helped develop Patrick Mahomes, and he has experience. And he's under Andy Reid. He's seen what works. You learn. I think he is the perfect choice for this team. I'm worried about the pass-run balance, but when Edwards-Helaire is healthy, they like to run the ball. Otherwise, they can throw some drag routes underneath to guys like Kelsey. If you have Dallas Goedert here next year, you have Bieniemy work with him like with Kelsey, Miles Sanders in that backfield, and then of course Carson Wentz, even Jalen Reagor. Look, we don't love the pick, but Jalen Rager's got speed. He's got game speed. All right, can you use him similar to how they use Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman? Possibly. Could you get Greg Ward using like Sammy Watkins? For sure. You already have the pieces here if you have the right coach, in my opinion. You have a lot of work to do, though. You get Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase, which I'm fine with either one, by the way, for the record.
Can't go wrong with either one.
I'll roll with either one, SEC wide receivers. I think that Eric Bieniemy would be the great fit here. He knows what he's doing. He has experience with the team. And I think for this team on defense, of course, you're going to need to find a good defensive coordinator. But I would roll with the offensive head coach. Of course, Bieniemy, he's my pick. Again, McDaniels, I get it from the field, but again, off the field are my issues with him.
Zach, I'm gonna throw just something out here. You talked about how the run pass balance of the Chiefs, it may seem more pass. I mean, Zach, you have Patrick freaking Mahomes as your quarterback. Wouldn't you want to try to air it out too? But once again, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not no Miles Sanders. He's good. He's good. Miles Sanders is better. As of right now, Miles Sanders is better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire underneath him. Zach, you get what I'm trying to say. But if he would have come here, you have yourself a Miles Sanders that can run the ball. You have all these great weapons. Zach Ertz isn't going anywhere. I don't believe he's not going anywhere this year. I don't think he's going anywhere at all. Zach, we cry for this brother to be here. The city loves him. That's one of our kids right here. It's like I said, Ben Simmons is. Zach Ertz is another one. We will fight if he comes here. All the pieces he has here. You're going to get yourself a wide receiver in the draft. You can always sign yourself another one. All right. You have a great running back in Miles Sanders. It's like, I'm going to throw this as a backup running back piece. What about Mark Ingram? What about
yesterday by the Ravens?
What about Big Trust? You bring him in here on a nice little 1 year deal, on a 1 or 2 year deal, $10 million, something light, and go from there. You're going to get your offensive line back healthy. You're going to get Brandon Brooks back. Lane Johnson's going to be back healthy. Andre Dillard is coming back healthy. And Isaac Seumalo is going to be there. Jason Kelsey is the big what if. Did he retire yet? I don't know. But you can find new guys like that. Zach, it's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Just need the right personnel to do it. If you get Bieniemy, you hire someone, a young defensive-minded coach that's going to come in here and let him hire all the defense. Howard Rosen should have no say, not one say on what goes on in this field. Just shut up and cut the checks. That's all I ask you to do. Just do that. You're a numbers guy. Doesn't look like this year because we're in cap crisis, but you're a numbers guy. Just do your job. Do your job. Make the trade.
Yeah, I don't know. You have a lot of free agent wide receivers. You can really acquire a guy like Allen Robinson in the offseason and draft Jamar Chase. And then your wide receiving core next year is Allen Robinson, Jamar Chase, Jalen Reagor, and Greg Ward. Who says no to that? That's not a bad wide receiving core. Again, the O-line, I've said this all year, is going to fix itself. The run game, you need to get another veteran in the backfield. Mark Ingram would be perfect here. And then, of course, the other question would be the quarterback position. And the priority this offseason would be to fix Carson Wentz. If you fix him, he wins the QB competition, you're trading Jalen Hurts. You can't have them both in the same locker room. I don't know why it's that way. That's just how it is in football. At that position, at wide receiver, you can have multiple guys running routes on the same play. You can't have multiple quarterbacks throwing on the same play and leading the team. So I do think that one of these guys will not be on the team, and that kind of takes us into our next topic, Gavin, with the Indianapolis Colts quarterback, Philip Rivers, retiring after, I believe, 18 seasons or 17 seasons it was?
17.
Because it was Eli Manning had played 16. Of course, we know on draft night, Eli Manning drafted first overall by the Chargers, traded to the Giants, of course, for Philip Rivers. Rivers leading his team to the playoffs in his last year, lost a close one against the Buffalo Bills. Gavin, what are some thoughts and reflections on Philip Rivers' career?
Well, first of all, Zach, he's going to go down as a great quarterback, one of the best trash-talking quarterbacks to ever play this game. He gets it to anybody. He doesn't care what you are. But the one thing that's always going to stain his legacy is he doesn't have a Super Bowl. I mean, think about it. He comes in the same draft class with Eli Manning, and Eli said, I forget how the trade went down, but basically those guys swapped. And you think about it, Eli Manning, as much as I clown Eli Manning for the end of his career, it looked like arm. He did have 2 Super Bowls. All right, Phil Rivers came close multiple times, lost to Peyton Manning a couple times in the divisional round. I think one time not championship, but Zach, Phil Rivers is a great quarterback. Hall of Fame. I could be wrong, but Hall of Fame may be questionable. I don't know, but it was a fantastic career. It was lovely to watch, especially the trash talk, the mic'd up moments. And Zach, his throwing style, you could just tell his throwing style. It was time for him to go. He was, look, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not the one to be talking about anyone's throwing style, but Zach, he was putting everything he had into it to get the ball down the field, and almost barely got down the field. But Zach, one last thing: if I am the Colts. You're going. Yes, you were going to try to trade for Deshaun Watson. Doesn't look like it's going to work. You don't have the Dolphins have a better pick system than you do. But I would look at the Eagles and I would ask for Carson Wentz. And if I'm the Eagles, I would give them Carson Wentz. And then what I would do after that, Zach, I would go out and go sign myself a Chris Godwin, an Allen Robinson, one of those guys, a Kenny Galladay, as you like to point out. I would do that, and then get yourself the enemy, and then go from there.
I mean, look, Doug Peterson was fired because he wanted to roll with Jalen Hurts, so I find it hard to believe that Carson Wentz will be on the move. But yes, the Colts are going to have a quarterback situation they're going to have to figure out here in the offseason, whether they get a veteran, or maybe Matt Stafford's been a name in there, but we'll have to see how that rolls through. But with that being said, coming up after this, the Sixers are back tonight. They're going to be playing back-to-backs against Boston at home. Starting 5 is there. We're going to get predictions and more after this.
We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage. Single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode.
All right. The rival Celtics coming to town. We had their number in the regular season last year. Of course, we know how the postseason went. All starting 5 is back tonight. I'm not sure how much of the bench is back, but Furkan Korkmaz is back. Shake Milton's, of course, been playing. Gavin, this starting 5 was dangerous. They're undefeated, 7-0 when they all play together. And you're playing against a Boston team that's no joke. They just lost to the Knicks, but they didn't have Jason Tatum. You got Kemba back, you got Jalen back, and of course you have Jason Tatum tonight, Tristan Thompson. Gavin, what are some of your thoughts, predictions for tonight's game?
I feel like the Sixers win this first one. Zach, Seth Curry's gonna come out firing. All right, it's been a while since we've seen him. What, a week and a half almost since we've seen Seth Curry. Zach, I expect big things from the Sixers tonight. This is your rival. All right, forget about Brooklyn. All right, forget about the Bucks. All right, because you beat the Bucks before. You spanked them on Christmas Day last year, and the only team that got your number throughout the time was the Celtics. Zach, the Celtics got better. Jason Tatum is 6'10" now. Kemba Walker is arguably the best fit that you could ask for there. And then the growth of Jaylen Brown too. Zach, and then you got yourself a decent center, which arguably Joel Embiid should bully Tristan Thompson because that Tristan Thompson can't guard Joel Embiid. But I expect a win in that. I expect 20-something points from Seth Curry and Joel Embiid to do Joel Embiid things. But Zach, my major problem is Ben Simmons. What Ben Simmons are we getting today? That's the real question.
I'll take 15, 10, 10. That's all he needs. I can't take single-digit points from him. It's embarrassing for a starting point guard. There's no one who's going to stop him. Kemba's going to stop him? Jason Tatum? I mean, no, there's no one that should be stopping. Ben Simmons can get in the paint whenever he wants. There's no serious big who's going to get in the way of him. I'm not scared of Tristan Thompson. Simmons, I needed to be aggressive tonight, get to the hoop a few times, charity stripe. And I think most importantly, he needs to be able to, of course he facilitates, of course he plays good defense, but be aggressive. When the lane is there, take it. You don't need to kick out every single time because you risk a turnover. Sometimes it works. You get the Danny Green wide open in space or Seth Curry wide open in space. Sometimes you get to some of your other guys, Tobias Harris as well. This team can be good. Ben Simmons does need to be aggressive. Those 3 or 4 possessions a game where Ben kicks it out instead of drives to the cup, that could be arguably 8 to 10 points that we're missing out on. And the amount of games you'll lose by that little amount, it can be the difference maker in these games.
I love Ben's passiveness. I really do. But sometimes you gotta be aggressive. Zach, if I told you before, if I was 6'10" with the ability to do what he does, I'm putting up 30. Because no one's going to stop me. What guard is going to stop me? And then when they put a center power forward on me, guess what I'm going to do, Zach? I'm going to give it to Joel Embiid. And then when they start doubling him, I'm going to go right back to it. Zach, I said it once, and I'm going to say it again. This guy, Ben Simmons, did take the Sixers on a win streak. Zach, you remember that win streak? It was, 16 games, 15 games to beat Cleveland twice? There's no reason why Ben Simmons can't do that. Zach, Ben Simmons was the guy during that run. Even a little bit last year, we saw how much we missed him. Here's the thing. If Ben Simmons could be just a tad more aggressive, I'm talking 20 points. I'm not asking him to shoot, Zach. I don't even want to see him shoot another 3 again. I really don't. Okay, Zach, that was awful. I had people trying to say, oh, it was a pass. No, ladies and gentlemen, when you set your feet like that and he looked at the hoop, that was a shot. It ended up looking like a pass because he didn't get nowhere near the rim. But, Zach, just be aggressive. Attack the lane. Attack the hole. Zach, that's what Michael Jordan did. Attack the lane. Remember that, the Jordan rule. They literally bat him out the sky. They're mid-range. Then he hit threes when needed to. All right? I'm not saying Ben Simmons is near Michael Jordan because, Zach, if I said I think I'd lose all basketball rights to talk for the rest of my life. But to get to the hole, you can do it. It's easier now than when it was back then. Zach, we know that. We know it. And he just doesn't do it.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's frustrating. It's complicated. You have a lot of shooters tonight. Sometimes teams that throw the team on his back. Tonight's not going to be one of those nights, it looks like, so it's going to be tough. But if he can be aggressive with all starters out there, or even with some of the bench guys, if it's like him and Tobias Harris and then the rest of them are bench guys, you have Furkan Shake and Matisse out there, drive to the basket, lead this team, put up points when needed.
Zach, let me ask you this. The Sixers are sitting in third place. I mean, really tied for second. Boston's in first, but they only have 8 wins, 6 of 9 wins. I don't know how the heck that works. Let me ask you this. Where will the Sixers be seated at the end of this year? 2? I'm not saying 1 because Brooklyn's going to be 1 at the end of the year. But I'm thinking 2 through 5.
I think right where they are right now, 3. I think they're going to be the 3 seed. If they win tonight, of course, they're the 1. But we have Brooklyn up and coming. Kyrie Irving will be making his appearance, we think, at some point this week.
That's today.
He said a few times, but yes, it's expected tonight against Cleveland, right?
Yep, to make magic, yeah, just the bull-year-old team, yeah.
So right now what we're looking at on the standings, we got Boston at 1, Milwaukee at 2, Philly at 3, Pacers at 4, Nets at 5. Nets at 5, Knicks at 6, Cavs at 7, Hawks at 8. The Magic haven't won a game since Markelle tore his ACL. They've fallen off. The Hornets still have not done anything. The only team I see outside right now of the top 8 that will make the playoffs is Miami, which means one of these teams is going to be more than likely to make the playoffs, Gavin. The Knicks, the Cavaliers, or the Hawks. Two of those teams.
Say that first team again.
The Knicks. 2 of 3 of those teams are likely to make the playoffs. There's a possibility to see playoff games in the Garden this year.
The Knicks. The Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, that's not happening. I hate to tell you.
Well, who do you see coming out? You see the Hornets rising to the occasion? The Bulls? I mean, there's not a lot of other teams. The East is very top-heavy. Top 6 teams. Look, I mean, you take a look at we've talked about this. Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, Indiana, and, of course, Miami when they get up there. That's it. That's your competition right there. Those last 2 seats. Yeah, go ahead.
If I had to pick, and I'll let you, if I had to pick my last 3, there's a playing game. If I had to pick my last 3, it would most likely be Miami at 6 because Jimmy Butler's going to come back. I'm going to go the Hawks at 7. And then that 8 spot's going to be a play-in between, I think Chicago could turn around. That play is going to be between Chicago and New York. That's what I got for you.
Throwing it back to the 1990s, the Knicks and the Bulls back in the playoffs. That would be a exciting one to watch without a doubt. But look, it's another season without fans. As crazy as it possibly could be, we can see some things that are crazy. The Washington Wizards have been irrelevant up to this point. I think Bradley Beal is moved by the deadline. It wouldn't shock me if they send Russell Westbrook away, but his 4th team in 3 years, 2 years.
Where will Bradley Beal go, Zach, since you brought that up?
I mean, personally, I think I could see him going to Philly. At the same time, I could see him going out west. I don't know who would be taking him, whether it be Denver, who'd be interested in moving Michael Porter Jr. and bringing in Beal to be the 2, and then, of course, Jamal Murray at the 1. Utah really doesn't need him. I know Donovan Mitchell could play the 1, but I think that would definitely be a difficult one. In all seriousness, I do think that he will go to Brooklyn. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone apparently goes to Brooklyn at that point, but I don't know. I think Philly's the best fit for him. I don't know what the trade package would look like. I don't know if they want to trade him to a rival, maybe to a team like New York or something that's going to just make the playoffs. But Washington's been a mess so far this year. Their defense has been terrible, despite Bradley Beal putting up good numbers and Russell Westbrook putting up good numbers.
Well, first of all, Zach, New York is the best city in America. Zach, I'm gonna come out and say that, even though the New York Knicks stink and the Giants and Jets, well, they're in Jersey, so that doesn't matter. But New York is the best city, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna put that out there. Do I see him going to Brooklyn? No. Do I see him going to the Knicks? No. I mean, there's a chance, but no. If you're the Sixers, would you take the chance on him? Yes, but can you not give up too much? I mean, what would you consider too much? I mean, I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't know, because everybody's playing well right now to even move anybody. You talk about out west, Zach. How about the Dallas Mavericks? How about I don't want to say Houston, or not Houston, because they're set. What about maybe Memphis in the long run? You got to think about teams that just going to load up. And every Lakers fan, of course, after seeing James Harden, they want everybody to go play with LeBron now, because that's how LeBron needs everybody to play with him. But all in all, it's like I don't know where Bradley Beal's going to go. That would be an interesting trade. That and Buddy Hield are going to be on the move.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Kings as well. We can take a look at the Western Conference before we get to the Flyers. But in the Western Conference, of course, Lakers have won. Jazz have been on a tear. Clippers, Suns, Spurs, Blazers, Warriors, Grizzlies, and the Nuggets at 500. Of course, some teams out of it right now that are expected to make the playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks at 10. The Pelicans at 12, I think so. And then the Kings at 13, I do not see them making the playoffs. Then, of course, the Timberwolves continue to be mediocre and terrible. They're on their way to the first overall pick once again this season. It's been a disaster there ever since Jimmy Butler has left.
It's a shame because they have a lot of talent on the team. D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, who I'm really fond of. Not really fond of Karl Anthony Towns, but he's there. Zach, at what point do you think, when that guy ain't working, like when would you start blowing it up? When would you start moving pieces around? There should be.
You already tagged last year. You got the first overall pick, and what did it do for you?
No, it got you the same spot. I mean, Zach, I don't understand. I never seen a team not improve. I never seen it.
I mean, you got the Knicks, but that's obvious. They haven't had the first overall pick in years.
Well, they can't tank right, Zach. We all know this, Zach. You had a job.
You had the best odds last year, though. That was just a shocker in New York.
They really couldn't tank right. I never seen it. Zach, in a draft where it was Zion, and if you didn't get Zion, the consolation prize was Ja Morant, and you end up with RJ Barrett. Not saying RJ Barrett's a great player, but you just miss. You miss. It's all right. The potential. I remember Knicks fans saying, "Oh, well, if you get Zion, you package him for AD and get KD and Kyrie." Well, you ended up with nothing. You struck out. We're like the Phillies. They're the Phillies of basketball.
Look, I mean, ownership's been a mess in New York, and we know this. They might not win ownership might not necessarily win you championships, but they can definitely lose you them. I think that's kind of been the big motto that I've learned about. But with that being said, Flyers, big bounce back last night over the Buffalo Sabres, who they got destroyed by the night before. We'll get some first reactions to that the rest of the week for the Flyers, and are they worthy of the number 2 spot in the NHL Power Rankings? Stay tuned.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
All right, welcome back here on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. Look, it was an ugly game the other night for the Philadelphia Flyers. They bounced back last night. A couple injuries, of course. Carter Hart not playing due to a rest because it's a back-to-back. He also was benched late in that game against the Sabres. But last night, big win for them. Brian Elliott had a pretty good night as well. Gavin, I mean, look, they're 3-1 now. They're looking pretty good so far. Again, every team loses at some point So I mean, you can just close off that loss and say, look, it's not a big deal. Phones off again as always. But like, look, are you worried about the Flyers, or do you think they looked right back on track last night?
I'm not. They looked great last night. Zach Konechny came out again with a goal. All right, yeah, Hayes with a goal and assist. Zach, that was the first shutout against the Sabres in what, since 2008, 2007, something like that. It's been a long time. Correct me if I'm wrong, any Flyers fans. I would love to know. But look, Zach, it was like it's like the night in the NBA where every good team lost. Zach, every good team has to lose at one point. The Flyers lost. They're going to get back on track. They bounced back quickly, too. They shut them out the next night. It's like there's nothing wrong with the Flyers. And the question was, do they deserve the number 2 ranking? I believe so. This team is great. You got your guy, Oscar Lindblom, back. Travis Konechny, is playing out of his mind right now. Hayes is playing well. And you already know Jake Elliott is going to do Jake Elliott. Wow. But you get what I'm trying to say Carter Hart's going to do great, amazing things to this team, and as long as it's like he was kind of the driving force of the playoffs last year. He kept them in games. He was playing out of his mind. Zach, hockey is a long season to go. I believe this Flyers team can keep it up, and they're going to have their mishaps like every team does, but they're going to be great. And ladies and gentlemen, Jake Elliott, I mean, the way how he was kicking this year, he probably put on ice because he kept missing.
Look, I mean, I'll be honest. Good teams bounce back, bad teams fold. They bounce back. They looked pretty good. Our good friend Chris had an opportunity to have a press pass and was at the game last night. So that was pretty exciting. We'll have a chance to get him on hopefully next week and discuss it because that was a pretty exciting experience. But with that being said, look, Flyers, you really haven't had your real test yet. I mean, of course, you had Pittsburgh, but just looking at the NHL standings, again, Penguins, 4 points. They currently sit tied for 4th place. The Flyers right now are in 1st place, tied with the Capitals. They are currently at 6 points, of course. The Capitals come off 2 overtime losses. Of course, that's just bad luck at that point. But look, we said before the season started, we want to see the Flyers in the Eastern Conference Final this year. Again, odd year. I mean, a little bit different with the divisions and whatnot, but I think at the end of the day that this team, it's so crucial for the Flyers to be able to just go out there and show the veteran presence. When I talk to Flyers fans, they all tell me you got the great coach with the veteran experience, and you got the perfect blend of young talent, guys like Carter Hart, and then veterans. Of course, you have Claude Giroux there, Travis Konechny, Brian Elliott, of course, coming off the bench as a goaltender. It's going to be crucial for this Flyers team to be able to get out there, step up, do what they need to in order to win some games. You need to be able to close out games. Of course, we know they had a pretty comfortable first series last year. They were the 1 seed, fortunately so. And then I think more importantly, you take a look at some of these different guys like the New York Islanders. It was a very reality check, I guess I'd say, for them in order from when they lost that series. But maybe it lights a fire inside you and you look better this year. They look like they haven't missed a beat. They look like a good hockey team. Remember, they didn't get hot till late last year. So I think that there's a lot of good things to like about this team. Surprisingly, yes, we have a good team in Philadelphia. Don't be distracted by the Phillies and as well as the Eagles.
Well, Zach, they got hot late last year, and you talk about it, and then the pandemic hit, and no one knew what the Flyers team was going to look like when the bubble came back, and they were the best team in the bubble, and they got into a series, they won, and then they got reality checked. Then they came out and the start of new season, they look hot again. Zach, if they can keep it up, we don't know where this is going to end up. Zach, I'm not the best hockey analysis. I leave that to my guy Chris and Matt. But I will say this. Once the Flyers are rolling and they're on fire, they're a problem. They're a problem. And Zach, you're right.
I agree.
Don't let the other two teams, one run across the street and one that sits behind the Wells Fargo Center. Don't let those two teams fool you, all right? The Eagles are all right and the Phillies are just a hot mess. I don't want to get into that. Well, actually, I might have to because something did go down. But go on, Zach.
Well, the Wells Fargo Center is having success right now. Unfortunately, the Philadelphia Soul are not really that big of a thing anymore. They were winning games when they were there. And, of course, the Flyers are winning. And the Sixers, for the most part, are winning as well. But Flyers, of course, strong start to the season. They play again this week. I can take a look at their schedule, see who they're playing. But they got a lot of these back-to-back, so we're going to see it. They play Boston on tomorrow as well as Saturday. Then they go to New Jersey to play the Devils. Islanders at home, back against Boston. And then the key to watch out for is February 7th and 9th against the Capitals in Washington. It's going to be a fun season. I have a feeling for sure.
It's going to be fun. You beat Sidney Crosby. You send him home crying, as he always does. And you're off to a hot start. Zach, I'm excited for this Flyers season. But, Zach, The one season I'm not excited for is the Phillies, but I got a headache already thinking about that.
We'll have to dive into that a different day. But with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today here on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. We appreciate you being with us. With that being said, everybody, thanks again and have a great, great day.
Have a good everybody. See you, Zach.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.